Okay, we got a new logo. I love this logo. It's clean, it's simple, it's bright, it's eye-catching, and it's not full of too much information. So I really like this logo, and I'm hoping that I can do it justice here. So I've got several things I'm going to do. Hopefully, will be neat tricks, and we shall see. So let's get right into it. I am going to go ahead and click the image itself. Go into fill and stroke, set that opacity down so I can work above it like so. And we're ready to start. I'm going to do the blues first, including the shadow down here. And I was doing some measuring briefly, and I can do a satin stitch. It's 1.4 mil. That's good. I can do a satin stitch there, and I can do a satin stitch here. Let's look at this one. This one's really small, but I can do a satin stitch in this direction. But it's really short. So what I'm going to do is just tie all these shadows together in each letter. And should come out really good and not have too many cuts and trims and jumps or anything like that. And I'll show you what I mean when I get down there to it. We're going to do the blue first. That way we can also do the shadow of the blues. Probably fast forward through a lot of this part up here because it's standard satin stitch you've seen me do before. So it's not a big deal. And we're going to go ahead and start. So the requested size was 5x7, so 7 wide, 5 tall. And that's what we're going to work with. And here we go. Okay, going to grab the Bezier tool. We're going to draw a line like we always do. Select the nodes tool, do that, hit symmetric. Let me turn on my button notifier. Okay. Select that node, and we're going to pull it out so that it follows the original. Going to do another one on the other side. Down to here. Right down the middle, but we're going to overshoot the middle a little bit so we can make up for the push-pull effect. We are manually compensating for pull. And that in there somewhere. Now we'll draw some rungs. I'm going to hold the control button so that those rungs are nice and straight. Hit apply and quit. We are going to adjust this one ever so slightly. We're going to drag it down so that's true. Okay, on the other side, we're going to draw up. Again, exaggerating that center over. Grab the nodes tool and pull this down a little bit. Okay, grab that one. Symmetric. We will draw up on the other side. And nodes tool, like that, symmetric. Now this one we're going to do something like that, and then we're going to do something like that, and then we're going to do something like that. Should be a pretty clean mix. That's the first one. We'll go to that one, select all, combine, extensions, Inkstitch params. Satin column, custom satin column. We got a nice clean satin column going up with that nice little twist. Outstanding. I'll do this one here, and then we're just going to do the same thing for the rest of it. I'm going to fast forward that because you've seen them all, right? The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select the other part of that W. Well, no, not yet. Okay, never mind. So we'll come in here and we're basically just going to do the same exact thing over again. And now we've drawn that out. Select the nodes tool. Let's make it symmetric. Fill it in nicely to match the original. Outstanding. Do it again. Nodes tool. Symmetric. That looks pretty good. Make some rungs. Yeah, go down. We're going to curve this one up a little bit because we're curving a lot down here. And we should have a pretty clean little stretch there. Control K. Extensions Inkstitch. Params. Satin column, custom satin column. Come on with the twist. Oh, that looks pretty good. Hit apply and quit. I like it. So the rest of these letters, these blue letters, I'm just going to skip ahead real quick. And then we'll get on to doing the shadow as a satin stitch. And I'll show you most of that. Because that's going to be a little extra to it to make it right. Make it nice. Okay, so I'll carry on. Except for the W. I will show you the W. I mean the R. What am I talking about? Okay, I'll show you the R because I want to. So we're going to do that. We're not going to make any rungs because I'm going to copy that line identically. And then we're going to pull it over. I'm going to hold shift as I drag it over so that it's nice and straight. And then we can just grab those two paths, hit combine, extensions Inkstitch, Rams. And I want the stitching to end on the right hand side at the top. It does not. So I'm gonna change it here in the params. I'm gonna come down here and I'm going to swap rails, which is going to make it end on the other side. So now it's on the right hand side. You see this little icon, X marks the spot. Hit apply and quit. So we can pick up right where we left off with that stitching and go right into the curve around. And I'm going to come up a little bit shy of center, kind of like we did before. I'm overlapping the original column to make up for pull again. We're going to select the nodes, select one of those nodes. I'm going to hit Control A for all and make symmetrical. Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, we can go with that. And then we're going to do it again on the inside. Come right on around. Right up inside of the column. We're going to do the nodes tool again. We're going to go Control A and make symmetrical. Looks pretty good. Now we do need to run some rungs on this one. So we're going to rung here. We're going to put a rung here. We're going to go ahead and start sloping it. Come on around somewhere about middle. I'm going to make another one. Hold Control to make it straight. It didn't click. Make it click. Come on, click. There we go. Click, click, and click. Okay. So we're going to grab all of those. That's the column and shift, click, Control K, extensions Inkstitch params. satin column, custom satin column. That's a pretty tight turn, so that's about as good as we're probably going to get. Maybe need to tighten it up a little bit, but that's not bad at all. I'll take it. Okay. And then we're going to come out of that with one coming down. We're going to go all the way to about here. Then we're going to drop down, and then we're going to come out. And then we're just going to follow it on down. Nodes tool. For right here, I just want that one. It's not going to change much, but we're still going to make it symmetrical. And then this one here, just these last two, just need to be symmetrical. So we do that. And then give us a couple of rails. I'm going to go, we can go pretty straight. So we're going to go pretty straight on all of these because it ends pretty straight down here. We'll leave it like that. We'll pull this one over a little bit so that it's a little bit straighter. And we'll go with that. So I need that one. Shift click, Control K, extensions, Inkstitch, params. Satin column, custom satin column. Looks very good. Let's apply and quit. Inkstitch, params. And we'll take a quick look at the R. Looks good, looks good. Oh yeah, that looks really good. I like it. Quit, and we will continue along. Now, I've got the R selected, so I'm going to go ahead and group that R. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the W, even though that two pieces of the W are not combined. I'm still going to do it because it represents the W. Didn't group, so we'll just go ahead and throw that in there. Okay. This is not a good day for my Inkscape and Inkstitch. I'm using my backup Inkscape. As you might be able to tell if you're come here often, this looks a little different than I usually have it. And hopefully there'll be an update. Pretty sure Inkscape updated on Linux and it broke Inkstitch. So I'm on my backup. And here we go. Gonna do some more. I'm going to fast forward through these. So I'm going to try a new thing to where usually when I do a fast forward, I'm just muting that section of fast forward. So I'm going to try a new thing to where I'm doing a voiceover, doing that during that muted section. And I think it's going to make for a better recording, better result, better tutorial, because I'll be able to talk a little bit instead of having a section of silence. I'll be able to talk a little bit extra about whatever really I feel like talking about. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even have to be the video on the screen, other than to say during this I'm doing fast forward right now, and during this fast forward I'm just doing more of the same that I've been doing. So if you need to slow down, you can pause the recording. Okay, so now the interesting shadow effect that I have in mind. We're actually going to do this as a satin stitch. We sure are. So I'm going to start somewhere where it's not a little spot. This one's going to come down to there. And then we need to overlap it just a little bit, because the green color is going to stitch over the top like a shadow. Really like that to be a little bit smaller, just for giggles. Okay, now I can see it better. And grab that nodes tool and grab that, pull it down a little bit. Okay, grab both of those. Yeah, okay, both of those that I just did. Combine, extensions, Inkstitch params. And custom satin column. Apply and quit. Oh, nope. You go back. Extensions, Inkstitch, params. This one's important. What we want to do to make this work, right now the needle's ending on this right hand side. I need it to end on the left hand side, and so we're going to swap rails. That'll put it on the left hand side and allow lock stitches before. Apply and quit. And then we're going to come down and we're going to pick up right where we left off. From here to right about here, a little bit on the inside. Duplicate that one. D for duplicate, scoot it up. Grab that last one, Control K, and extensions, Inkstitch, params. In a perfect world, we would extensions, Inkstitch, params. I think I pulled it out. We would satin column. We would start at the bottom and end at the top, and we can do that by swapping rails. Check it out. Start at the bottom, end at the top, and we won't allow lock stitches neither. Apply and quit. Now we're going to go in from here. We're going to start on this side. Actually, hold on. We need to pull that up just a hair. We need to pull just that rung, that one, up just a hair. We need it to be inside of that green. We need it to be stitched over by the green. Okay. Now we can come down. We're gonna go inside the green again, both above and on the left, and we're gonna come all the way down. Hit the control button so we're making a straight line. Duplicate that line. Drag it over with the control button, and we should be good. Grab those last two. Combine extensions, Inkstitch, params. Need it to start on the right. It doesn't matter where it ends. Satin column, custom satin column. It starts on the right. Let's see where it ends. We need to know just because. And we don't need to swap rails, but we are going to lock stitch neither. Hit apply and quit. Now from here, we ended on the left hand side, so we're going to make our own running stitch going from here. It's going to be covered up by the green, and we're going to run it up here. Yeah, I don't want to do that last, so yeah, let's do that. Guess we could do it last. Doesn't matter. I gotta make the jump anyway, so okay, let's go from here over to here. Right, I like it. Need to go into the params of that as well. Inkstitch params. And once again, allow lock stitches neither. Apply and quit. Zoom in. We're going to start on this side over here where we want the stitching to start. Come down. I'm going to just kind of overlap. I'm going to back it up. I'm going to come down a little deeper. There we go. And then we can just kind of go in a little bit and then down to here and then out a little bit. Something like that. And then back up to the top. We need to go inside the green a little bit. Come on down. Hit the control button so it's straight. Draw some rails. Control button for straight. Grab the ones we just made, which starts there. Grab all those. Control K, extensions, Inkstitch, params. Satin column, custom satin column. We need it to end on the left. It does not. We also need it to start on the right, which we can't do both. Which show you how to get around that. We do need it to end on the left, so we're going to swap rails. And then we're going to do allow lock stitches neither. Hit apply and quit. Now I'm going to grab my nodes tool. I'm going to give that another node. And we're going to come over here so that the running stitch is underneath that satin stitch. That'll be just fine. I'm going to grab that. And once again, need to be on the inside. Come on over. Do about there. Control button so it's straight. Grab that. I'm going to pull it down just a hair. Yeah, it'll be all right. And then duplicate. Control button to drag it straight. We're going to go inside the green a little bit. Grab those two. Control K. Extensions, Inkstitch params. Satin column, custom satin column. We need it to start on the bottom. So let's swap rails. And it does end on the top. That's what we need. Go in here and we'll do allow lock stitch neither. Hit apply and quit. It does end on the top, so we can run another running stitch from here on up to, doesn't matter, a lot, somewhere there. Hit enter. Params, Inkstitch, params. Lock stitch neither. Hit apply and quit. And we're going to start on this side because we want it to start stitching on the other side. Go up into the green a little bit. Duplicate, drag. Duplicate, drag again. Duplicate, drag into the green a bit. Both of those. Control K, extensions, Inkstitch, params. Satin column, custom satin column. And allow lock stitches on after. So anytime you do this trick with the lock stitches, all I'm doing is saving the machine from having to do several unnecessary lock stitches and trim if it needs to trim. It's better for the machine. It's better for the stitching because when you do a lock stitch, you're stitching that same hole 4 or 5 times. So it avoids doing that. As long as you have a lock stitch at the beginning of all of this and at the end of all of this, it should hold together. And most of this is going to be covered with the satin stitch that's above it. So it shouldn't cause any problems at all. Hit apply and quit. And I'm going to do the same exact thing for all of these shadows. Probably will fast forward this, otherwise this video will get very long. And I think I am going to, one of those is this last eye, and I'm going to put the satin, the shadow stitches into its own group. Shadow stitches into its own. Edit. Layer, object, group. There we go. Right clicking on it is not working. I gotta fix my Inkscape. So hopefully in the next video, my Inkscape will be running again. Alrighty, same thing. Probably fast forwarding. So I'm doing another fast forward and I'm doing another voiceover. If this works out nicely, it's going to still have my head in there talking while I'm talking over the top of the one that's not right. So this, if this works, it'll be even better. So this segment there's not a lot going on here. I'm just doing much of the same for the understitching, making sure that I run everything on one letter, all of the shadow lines on one letter. And making sure that I have a lock stitch at the beginning of each segment, lock stitch at the end of each segment, and my manual underneath what's it called? Underneath running stitch, making sure that it doesn't have any locking stitches on either end. So it's just more of the same. And then if you'll take very close notice that my Inkscape is not exactly like my Inkscape usually is. The OpenSUSE Tumbleweed that I use had a gigantic update in the last couple of days, and in doing so, my Inkstitch quit working. It turned out to be a very simple thing, and I think what happened is there's a package called lib, short for library, lib NSL1 that Inkstitch needs, and I think it's more of a Python requirement than it is an Inkstitch requirement. But in any case, it needed it. It got replaced with libnsl3, which is the next iteration. libns1 is now listed as an old package. It doesn't need to be there anymore, but it's still available to install if you need it, which I did. Once I installed it, my Inkstitch started working again. It was a bit of a struggle because I wanted to work on an Inkstitch digitizing and didn't really want to work on getting Inkstitch to work, but got it to work. Everything's fine. So about halfway through this video, you'll see that I have switched back to my Inkstitch, and I'm happy again. This is a flat pack version of Inkstitch, and it's not working for visualize either. It's doing everything else I need. The params is working, which is the number one thing I need to have work. But visualize is not working. So later on in the video, my visualize works again. When you see me using simulator visualize, that is definitely back to my old faithful Inkstitch Inkscape, and that I've got it working again. In Linux, there's a lot of backup plans you can use. In my case, I have the repository Inkscape, and as a backup, I use the Flatpak, and I'm using the Flatpak right here, which is mostly working. And I think the visualize also requires the same libnsl1, which I didn't have on my system. That's why it wasn't working, but thank goodness the params was working. But I mean, that's that story, and that's part of using a rolling release, bleeding edge Linux. Some people prefer something that moves a little slower, is a little more stable. A lot of people prefer that. In the OpenSUSE community, that would be OpenSUSE Leap. Or if you wanted something else, Kubuntu, or what else? Linux Mint. Fedora is a weird mix of rolling and not rolling. KDE Neon is rolling bleeding edge KDE and absolutely stale, old as can be everything else. But anyway, that's where we're at in Linux. I like the bleeding edge because it's better for gaming. And yeah, that's just it. Anyway, so this little short speed up segment is about over, and I will quit rambling. On with the show. So for the next part of the Legends words, I'm going to let Inkstitch help me out a lot with the satin. I'm just going to draw satin stitches, and then I'm going to let Inkstitch route those satin stitches for better routing, and I'll show you what I mean. So what I mean by that is, now that I've got the letters drawn on the L, top, middle, middle, right, I've got all those drawn out. So I'm going to select them all, Inkstitch, extensions, tools, satin, auto route satin columns. I'm going to uncheck that trim because I want it to go ahead and do the underlie stuff. Close. So it auto routed for me, and I don't have to do all that manual underlie, and it's a lot easier that way. And we're going to do it again. Sorry, I forgot to hit unpause the record, but it was more of the same. You didn't miss anything. So all I'm doing here is making the satin stitches to reflect the lettering. And I'm making sure that the satin stitches that are involved in the lettering are all touching each other. So when I go into the Inkstitch params satin stitch, I can do an auto route satin stitch, and it will auto route all of those satin stitches that I just made. It'll make a really neat, clean letter for representing that satin stitch lettering, and it kind of does it automatically. You have to make the satin stitch columns, but then you're tying them together with that auto route satin stitch. And that's a neat little trick for when you're making satin stitches for fonts and lettering, or even a design. You're doing it as a design, you can also do that, and it'll get, integrate better. It's a pretty cool little trick. Alrighty, so the only thing we have left, I'm picking this up starting then 2 days later, I believe it is. Work is seriously interfering with what I want to do for work. Let's take a look at, oh, and I got my Inkscape back. Really simple little fix. Anyway, let's take a real quick gander at what I have so far. So far, it looks about like this. Do a realistic. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So that's it so far. Let's work on this a little bit more. And I really only have the tree trunk, the palm leaves, and the yellow, we'll call that a sunset. That's what we're going to call that. Sunset's going to be easy, and I need to go ahead and do it first. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to go, check this out. I'm going to do it this way. Go from middle to middle, hit enter. I'm going to select nodes tool, select all. So I have both of the two nodes that I made selected. And I'm going to, I think it's this one. Yep, that one right there. Insert new node into selected segments, and that puts it right dead center of middle. And then we're going to hit control and lift that. Nope, go back. I need to unselect and then select that one. Hit control and go up. Now holding control gives it a straight line. And then we're going to make symmetric. And it didn't do it quite enough, so we'll need to pull them handles. And we're going to be somewhere. I'm going to have to add another node, ain't I? Yep, I sure am. Easy peasy. Just double click the line in the nodes tool and you'll add another node. So something to that effect. Now, go into fill and stroke, make sure there's no fill, got stroke. I'm going to go stroke style, and I'm going to set, that should be roughly 4. Oh, what a guess. What a guess. That was a good guess. And we're going to make that yellow. Nope, not fill. Hold shift for a yellow stroke. And then go to extensions, Inkstitch, tools satin, convert line to satin. And that easy. Good, good. But I have an idea. Let's see how it goes. It may or may not work, but we're going to try it. Okay, so I need to go ahead and make this part right here. And we're not really going to be able to get. Good girl. More? You want more? So we're going to make that line right there. We're going to go to the nodes tool, select all, and select symmetric. That looks pretty darn good. Same thing on the other side of it. That get right on up in there. And again, nodes tool, select all, make symmetric. Pretty good. And then we need some rungs. We're going to start the rungs this direction here. And then there. And there. And finally there. So we need to select all of those paths that we just made, which should be that one. Nope. That one, yes. Select them all. Control K for combine. Inkstitch params. Have an idea. Don't know if it's going to work. Select custom satin column. And then down here, where is it? That's satin. Zigzag spacing percentage, random percentage. I want to set that to 10, and I want to see what that gives us any visual difference. Not really. About 30. And what I'm thinking is, okay, that's giving us a little bit of an effect. That might work. And a standard satin stitch, this is not going to look good, but a tree trunk, this might look pretty good. I don't know. So if you don't like it, just set that random zigzag spacing percentage back down to 0. It'll make a standard standard satin stitch. But I just wanted to try that. You could also do a random percent increase and make the edges a little rough too. But the picture, the edges aren't rough. It's just a little bit of, there's a little bit of detail inside the bark, so I don't want to make the edges rough. Hit apply and quit. And we're going to move on. So the next thing I want to try, and again, I don't know for sure if this is going to work, but it looks good in my head kind of thing. We are going to select, and I don't want too much stuff going on top of each other, so that's partly why we need to thin this down a little bit. Let's go with this one. I'm going to trace right up the middle. Right up the middle and follow that particular leaf right there around. And then again, select all, make symmetric. I may have to mess around with this just a little bit to get the effect going that I'm seeing in my head. But again, it's working in my head. We'll see how it goes. And then follow this edge around. And this one would be probably a really good case for some randomization. Somewhere around there. I know it's not where we usually put it. That's fine. So again, select all, make symmetric. And then we're going to make our rungs, but I want the rungs to go in the same direction as these leaves are going, which is roughly about that. And then that. And then just really exaggerated like that. So we might have to play around with this a little bit. Let's see. That's the first one. Nope. That's the first one. Shift, select all, okay, extensions, Inkstitch, params. Satin column, custom satin column, change that to an E stitch, and I need the E stitch to go in the other direction, so we're going to swap rails. Interesting. Let's go with peak to peak a little bit bigger. We definitely need that to be bigger. So let's see what 1 mil looks like. That might be what we need. Maybe. And let's see. There's some random things here. Random zigzag spacing. Let's do that. Let's do that again at about a 30. Maybe even more. Satin width increase and decrease. Are you done? Okay. Random percent satin width increase. Let's go with 20, and decrease is also going to be 20. Decreasing this edge. I don't want to change this edge. Let's set both of those back to nil. Okay, apply and quit. And then we're going to make another one right up the other side. We're going to try to really follow along in that first one's footsteps. Just like that. Again, select all, make symmetric, and again, the outside needs some love here. This is going to be weird. I'm going to have to go down a little quicker. Let's see how bad that looks. That's terrible. That's a terrible satin stitch. But let's see what it turns out to look like on what we're doing. Throw some rungs. Nope, I need to make sure they're in the direction of the leaves. It's terrible. Probably gonna have to edit that one. And I need, the first one is that one. Shift, Control K, extensions, Inkstitch, params. Satin column, custom satin column. How bad's that look? Yeah, maybe. Give that an E-stitch, just like we did before. It needs to be the reverse E-stitch again. So swap rails. Yeah, and okay, here we go. So I did, what did I do? I did zigzag peak to peak one, right? Leave. And then I did a random zigzag spacing percentage. I think I did 20, right? Like that. Or was it 30? Might have been 30. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. So just out of curiosity, I want to see what both of these look like. I don't necessarily want to see what that looks like. Well, okay, sure. We'll see what they both look like. Because why not? Oh, and I didn't change the... We're going to have a black palm tree. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe. Get some more up there. Some more of them up there, maybe. And make them green. Okay, so... We need to select the trunk, and we need that to be browns. We're going to pick a brown, like that one. Yep, I like that one. And then for the palm, we're going to pick a green, a very light green like that one. So we're going to pick that one. Pretty close. Okay, that's definitely closer. Let's go with that one. That's what we're going to go with. Okay, so we're just going to make a few more and see what it looks like. That's the only way we're going to know. So I'm going to zoom in to make another one. And so here's another opportunity for me to do a fast forward and over. And I want to direct your attention to WRMI Legends radio station out of Florida. And they're called WRMI Legends, and they play the Legends, the big name of radio. So give them a check out. I have a link in the description below, so you can go to it and have a listen in. I can't play it on here with a chance of getting that copyright strike for music. Playing music at the same time, so I'm not going to take that chance. But link down below. Have a look at WRMI Legends. Someone very close to WRMI Legends asked me, how do I do this logo with Inkstitch? Showed me a little bit of what she did. I said, I got you, girl. And I really wanted to make this shine, and I think I did a really good job. See at the very end, you saw the thumbnail. Clicked on this video to watch it. That is the result, digitizing result. And I think it turned out really good. I'm happy with it. So, full disclosure, I did not do a test stitching. The girls are hard and heavy on the machines right now, and here, I'm not going to get in their way. Let's do that. Other than that, check out WRMI Legends, link below. This fast forward right here is just more of the same, doing stitch for tree leaves. The end result looks really good. Let's grab that one and pull it in and over about like that. Okay, now we can do some row. In the general direction of the leaflets. I didn't even connect that one. And there. And there. There. And there. Okay. Grab all of that one, which starts there. Control K, extensions Inkstitch params. Set and column, custom set and column Stitch. 1 and 30. And every single time, swap rails. I know why, because I'm starting in the middle. Apply and quit. Watch this. I'll do it. I'm going to start next one outside. This one's a lot shorter, got a lot shorter leaflet. I'll start this one on the outside and I won't have to swap the rails. I like to get just a little bit of overlap. And then the rungs in the general direction of the leaflets. Grab the one that I just made, is that one. Shift, Control K, extensions, Inkstitch, params, satin column, custom satin column, Stitch. I don't have to switch it. All right. 1 and 30. Line quit. I'm going to grab both of those. Grab the dropper, the shift button, and select color. They're already both selected. Leave them both selected. We're going to flip and drag. And turn. And drag. Turn some more. Pretty close. Pretty close. All right. Once again, let's see what it all looks like. And I'm going to have to put some trims in there. That's going to be a blast. So, visualize. Fast forward. I feel like I missed. What? My duplicate didn't duplicate, so now I'll duplicate. Now I've duplicated. Okay. And flip. And drag. And turn. And drag and turn. And drag. Okay. Try that again. Extensions Inkstitch. Visualize. Now. Fast forward. Realistic. I like it. I like it a lot. Nice. We are going to print screen that and send it. Don't want both screens. Current screen. Yeah. Save. Save as. Okay, it's there. Oh, cancel and close. All right, I like it. So there you have it. Let's get rid of the image. Delete. That's what we're left with. Outstanding. Man, I like it. File. Save. That's it. That was a long one. Whew, that was a long one. It was actually, that's one of the longest logos I've done, but I wanted to really dig in there and do this one some real genuine justice. And I like this logo. It's done, or theoretically done. Probably will need a little bit of editing after the stitch out, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to send this to the person that was asking for it, and I will be notified how it is. Sure. Anyway, that's all for this one. And as always, thanks for watching.